But in
So
terms of that wider kind of global response to this, I mean, so far I have to say it's been relatively muted, unlike in 2020. But I do think it is going to make more countries, including actually in the West, gravitate towards finding a more reliable political partner. We've already seen that through BRICS, of course, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, what's happening through the Belt and Road Initiative. I mean, I foresee that process of countries gravitating towards China is only going to accelerate. I mean, how do you view it?
absolutely, and I think that Mark Carney, his speech marked a turning point in this. So recall his speech. He said that, listen, before we had this rules-based international order, it was really a myth because most of the time the strong just did what they want, meaning the American Empire just broke all these international norms, like for example, 2003 invasion of Iraq, which broke international law. But the Western nations went along with it because they weren't hurt by it. But in the age of Donald Trump, clearly the American empire has devolved into a mafia state. And if the world is to thrive, if middle powers like the UK can, if they are to successfully, if they're to be successful in this new age, then these nations need to work together to build a real rules-based international order. There's exactly one nation in the world that's strong and that has been strongly advocating for multilateralism, for international cooperation. That's China, right? So China has been vigorously trying to promote international trade that benefits everyone, especially developing countries like in Africa and in South America. And that's why they're so popular. When the United States goes in Africa and South America, it's usually to launch a coup d'etat or to lecture on human rights or to money launder. But when China goes in, it's to build roads, it's to build infrastructure, it's to build ports. And China has been promoting, as you know, the Shanghai Gold Exchange and the Gold Corridor. And the idea is the U.S. dollar is America's exorbitant privilege, and they've abused it. The Americans are now 38, 39 trillion dollars in debt. People have lost count, and they constantly print money to fund like these silly wars overseas, to fund corruption in America, and the world is financing all this. And so what China is saying is like, let's put a new order based on gold because that's a way to restrain financial corruption. And this gold won't be controlled by China. You will have your own. You'll be able to control your own gold in your own, vaults. But it'll be like the blockchain. I mean, it'll be an open ledger, and so everyone can see how much gold is in the system. And we'll use this system in order to finance projects that the world needs, like more infrastructure building. That will lead to productive trade, and that's the Chinese vision, and that's a vision that I think everyone can buy into. And Mark Carney says, look, the old order, it's dead. Look at the way Trump has behaved. And look, listen, if we don't change now, he's gonna come after us individually sooner or later. Okay, so it's now Greenland, then it's been Canada, then it's gonna be Europe. Eventually, we're all in a menu, right? He used the word menu sooner or later, and that's why it's important to be proactive in establishing new uh, rules-based international order where everyone benefits. And BRICS seems to be right now the to provide the best framework for this new rules-based international order.
Yeah, that's quite right. And if you look at, for example, Russia's international reserves, since the war started, they've massively increased. They're over 735 billion US dollars in value now. Of course, 300 billion of that was frozen after the war started. But all of the additional reserves that they've accumulated have been, I think, over 97% of the new reserve they've accumulated have been in gold, not in foreign currencies, which is fascinating because obviously the West can't steal their gold, unlike their sort of foreign currency reserves. And I guess for China, I mean that they don't want the exorbitant privilege, right? Because it would weaken their status as a global exporting and investing power, I should imagine.
Look, the exorbitant privilege has really hurt America, right? So think what the exorbitant privilege means. It means lack of discipline. Lack of discipline means it leads to corruption. It means it leads to an oligarchy. So right now, Washington D.C. is no longer accountable to the people. It's just accountable to a few dozen oligarchs who control all the wealth in the world. So I'm sure during the New Year's, there's this island called St. Bart's, and like a few dozen billionaires converge on St. Bart's with their mega yachts to celebrate the New Year's. People like Miriam Adelson, Jeff Bezos, and apparently they were like 80% of the world's wealth. That's just absolutely ridiculous that a few dozen people can control 80% of the world's global wealth, and this can only lead to the decay, the corruption, and ultimately the demise of your society. So exorbitant privilege has led to corruption. It's led to inequality. It's led to complacency. This has not been good for America.
Yeah, it certainly isn't. As 80% of the world's wealthiest hang out in St. Bart's, I mean, I sort of make a comparison with NATO, which, for money to weapons, which before the war in Ukraine started, accounted for 53% of global defense spending. And what Trump wants to do now would effectively push that up to almost 65% of global defense spending, would be in NATO if this 5% target, is achieved. I mean, that appears very clearly a sort of even though it's being couched in terms of Europe defending itself from Russia, which actually has absolutely no intention of invading Europe, no evidence for that. I mean, it just feels like a backdoor attempt to cling to global domination through military means. I mean, how do you see it?
I see it differently. I think the Americans are extremely corrupt. And so, Trump just recently announced that he's going to increase the Pentagon budget from $1 trillion to $1.5 trillion. America already outspends everyone else in the world in military spending. No, there's no military in the world that can actually challenge the American military. So why is he spending this much money? Well, the answer is kickbacks to the military-industrial complex. Okay, so this money does not mean troops will be paid better. In fact, many American troops are actually on food stamps. It's just ridiculous. It does not mean a more effective fighting force. It means more corruption. It means more weapon systems that have no relevance in modern warfare. It means the Golden Dome, right? And this 5% NATO spending, it's really the vassalization of Europe, where now these European states, to please Trump, they have to like pay off these American military contractors like Raytheon and Boeing. That's the entire point of all this. It's not to, start more wars. It's not to make NATO much more potent against Russia. It's just so that Trump's friends can continue to steal some more from the people. I'm sorry.